This next article now is about Amended Forest Conservation Act. This act was discussed earlier also among the CNA's. Simple idea is in 1980 we had a Forest Conservation Act. It talked about how the forest can used it. It talked about how to preserve forest, etc. In that act there was a subject, or there was a kind of forest called a deemed forest. Let me give you an example. So basically there is something called notified forest, and then there is something called deemed forest. Let us take a simple idea. In 1980, when the law was first made, it said that notified forest cannot be transferred for a non-forest activity without the central government's permission. Notified forest classified as a proper forest by the central government. So if those area which are classified as notified forest, they cannot be transferred for non-forest use. Means for manufacturing, for setting up a factory, infrastructure, they cannot be transferred for issues without a central government's permission. That was notified forest. By to conserve the forest growth, then there was something forest called deemed forest. Deemed forest are those areas where there were tree plantations, there were some forest, but they were not classified as notified forest. Some areas which are not classified as a notified forest, so far deemed forest, state government were given the freedom to decide their use. The state government were given the freedom to decide their use. They would decide how this area will be used. If they want to give this area to a factory, if they want to give this area to an industrialist to build a manufacturing plant, they could do that. Because of which many state government had misused the deemed forest. Classification giving this kind of a forest area to many industries and factories. Now what has happened with the new law coming in, or a change in the law coming in, this category has gone out. Now there is a no category of deemed forest. Now state government cannot transfer any land to those people who want to remove their forest, and who want to use a forest land for manufacturing and other activities, because of which most of the states are not happy, because it was used to be a good source of revenue for them. It used to be a good source of bringing in more jobs, employment in their state. Now deemed forest category has gone. There is no deemed forest category. States such as Odisha now have no deemed forest. Now for every forest land that has been given for non-forest areas, central government and the local Gram Sabha will have to give permission. That is the biggest change that has happened. The deemed forest used to be a forest. It was not recorded by the center or state. It used to be at the destination of the central government, state government. But now the amended act clearly defines what is a forest, and the concept of deemed forest has been removed. Now because of which state government's power to divert a land to any of the other areas has gone away. I'm sure all of you have all heard about Campa. Campa fund. What is Campa fund? Basically, when the center government, let's take a simple example. Say I have a big company. I want to set up a car manufacturing factory. For car manufacturing, I need a big land. I will go to center government. Will see, okay, you will not pollute the environment, okay, I will give you the land. They will ask a local Gram Sabha also, land will be given to me. So if a forest land is given to me, the company, I have to cut down on the trees, and the condition is, if I have to cut down on trees, then me as a company will have to grow the trees on the equivalent plot of land size, that is twice the area. If 100 acres of land is given to me, I promise that I will grow trees on 200 acres of land. So for every 100 acres of land, double the plantation has to be done. First, along with that, I have to give monetary penalty also. that money will go to Campa Fund, and this Campa Fund will be used for environmental purposes. That is a current law. It has been in existence for a long time now. If you have to cut down the trees, you have to be given a land by the government. You will have to, number one, identify the twice the bigger land than this and do forest station in the land, and second, you also have to give money for that will go into the Campa Fund. The problem here is governments are not happy with the change law because they think that their power of deciding which land to be given to companies or not has been taken away. The states anyways are unhappy because they are saying that this was one of the few sources of revenue that remained with us after GST etc. But the central government is giving much more priority to the conservation of the forest also. That land which are legally diverted between 1980 and 1996 when non-forest use will stay like that. So it's not that land that has given away earlier will now be taken back wherever the land has been given away by the state government. So private parties that will remain like that. Odisha does not just he said no other states now has any deemed forest. Almost 19,200 hectares of forest land was diverted for mining in past 6 and 7 years. About 8,000 hectares of land has given for mining from Odisha means there was a drastic deforestation seen in Odisha, and that is why this kind of law become extremely important. Under this law, now the state governments cannot on their own divert any land for non-forest uses. This amended law has a lot of important features that you have to remember. Number one is it restricts many activities in the forest that cannot take place. Also, do remember there are certain lands under this area that have been given exemptions. Land that has been declared as a forest will be covered under this law, which has not been declared as a forest but has been notified after 1980 that will also be considered as a forest under this act. There is no category of deemed forest that remains now. The law does not apply to certain very important areas for national purposes. National importance and national security areas, that is 100 kilometer within the LAC or LOC border areas and the regional borders, the law will not be applicable. There in those areas the government cannot divert forest land to a non-forest use. Whenever they want, without you asking the Gram Sabha, also central government can give direction to the state government or the union territories to implement this act in proper, and these are the changes that has been introduced in this law. The last article for today is again speech made by Chief Justice of India yesterday about this plan of expanding the infrastructure in the Supreme Court. Introducing many other changes, the Supreme Court of India said that the Chief Justice of India rather said that Supreme Court will have much better infrastructure in the coming months, including 27 additional courts being set up now, which are additional courts. There is only one Supreme Court, so don't worry about 27 other Supreme Courts being set up. Basically, within Supreme Court, there are multiple courtrooms. That is what he means. Like there are 34 judges. That is the strength or the maximum strength of sovereign code right now. There are 32 right now 2 are vacant, but 34 there is a maximum strength. These are 34 judges do not hear a case together, right? Let's say 5 is hearing a case, 3 judges are hearing a case, 2 are hearing a case, 7 are hearing a case. So all these are heard simultaneously. It's like a school. In a school you have multiple classes going on, right? Similarly here also within a Supreme Court there are 27 basically courtrooms that are planned to be built right now. There are only 15 courtrooms. The number will go beyond 15, and there are 27 additional courts that will be built. 51 judge chamber, that is So a kind of judges offices which are they are discuss certain matters. They can even have in charge chamber hearing up. Apart from this, also the Supreme Court is trying to have a better infrastructure for advocates on record association about the canteen office, better library, etc. Infrastructure in Supreme Court has been improving, and there has been a constant effort to improve this infrastructure for a very very long time. Now for example, the government has been running some all the e-courts integrated mission project. This was a project started in the 2007. The idea is to focus on e-courts, meaning allowing the people to have their cases heard online. If you remember, when the COVID-19 crisis was going on, Supreme Court was hearing cases online on Zoom. People did not really have to travel to the court, and similar kind of infrastructure is being built right now. As you know, since the past few months, you can watch the proceedings of the Supreme Court live on the Supreme Court portal. That is also an example of how the government and the Supreme Court is improving the infrastructure. Up under the wide area network project, it is a wide area network project. 99.4% of code complexes, the code country will be connected with high speed broadband. There is a national judicial data grid database. It's a database of how many pending cases there are, order judgments, etc. There are virtual courts being set up. Virtual courts are extremely important because there are very little small issues go to the court. Even issues which are traffic challans, etc., go to the court time again. So far the virtual courts are being set up so that the people don't have to travel to a large distance. Video conference, etc. Facilities are being set up within the jails, so that if a person load up in the jail, you don't have to bring them all the way to the court just for a hearing. Video conference facility can be set up over there. These are the initiatives that are taken up to improve the infrastructure in the courses by the teachers of the Indians, and Government of India combined. This brings us to the end of the today's session. There are a couple of practice questions right here in front of you. There are a few practice questions that I gave you a homework. Please search about and do let me know in the comment section as well. Answer to all these questions. I will see you tomorrow. Mains questions are: Myanmar hold great importance for India's strategic interest. Do you agree? Give examples to elaborate. Second one is: despite the constitution's safeguards, interstate water disputes haven't been resolved peacefully. Identify the reasons for these lacunae and suggest measures for their removal. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.